Hey there, everyone. Jonathan Saar from marketmesocial, and welcome to our new show for 2021, Be Social Simple. Tagline I have used forever, and we thought it would be appropriate to label this show. And I am also very excited that after our little pilot program from last year, my sister joined the team, and so she is going to be my fantastic, wonderful co-host. So Taryn Arsenault is her name, and I call her Sis. So that's what will probably happen. But please know she does have an awesome name, and it is Taryn. So Sis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here today. I am looking forward to a lot of what we've got planned here. We've got a lot of great information that people just need to know about.
Yes, name of the game. Great information, especially coming from 2020, going into 2021. Digital information is continues to be very, very crucial. Watch why it's nice and appropriate that you've chosen for our first episode. We're going to talk about website accessibility. So big topic. I know a lot of the people that we work with are, on the partner side where they do support to businesses, and we work a lot with property management companies. But it doesn't matter what industry you're from, website accessibility is super important. So I know you've got lined up for us some talking points. So what's the first thing that's on the list that we're going to chat about today and highlight what's important about website accessibility?
Well, the first thing is actually pretty basic. And if you're not doing it, it's the simplest change to get started with. And that's what you're using or what you're putting in for your alternate image text. Some people don't put anything there. They think it's not necessary, not important, but it really, really is. And there's a few rules that I've learned from you that we need to be doing. Everybody needs to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. It's so often overlooked, and it's like you said, it's one of the easiest things to do. So we'll have a few screenshots that we're gonna piece in here. So take a look at those. So look at this screenshot, just real simple on a WordPress site, and this is where it is. So not only are you loading a picture for whether it's a featured image, and we're talking in WordPress terms right now, whether it's featured image or whether it's your cover photo, but right within the settings is your alt tags. And take a minute to think of it not only from the perspective of you want to be able to tell a screen reader what the picture is, so don't get lazy about it, but it also serves as another bonus towards your SEO, because those with disabilities, they do need that if they use a screen reader. So it makes your website accessible. But Google also ranks that. It helps build your page rank, because now they just have another set of keywords description that helps them identify what your page is about. So yeah, excellent first item. Alt tags, don't forget them. Don't get lazy. Use them. Cool. What's next? Number 2.
Next, again, is about closed captioning, open or closed captioning. Very important. A couple pitfalls, though. A lot of people will just be like, okay, I'm just going to use the ones that YouTube and Facebook provide. That can get a little tricky because unfortunately they tend to not be as clear as they should be, or like I'm not being clear at this moment. I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
So what are some alternatives to just using what is provided?
Yeah, good question. I would say that YouTube is, 80% to 85% accurate. But just like we mentioned with the previous one, don't get lazy. If you are going to use them, take the time to go through and edit them. So you can do that. But just relying on them and hitting publish, I would never recommend that. Take the time, and follow along as you're listening and make those edits right within the editor. So that's one option. Now we use rev.com, rev.com. They have a couple of options. We use the human option where they actually create those captions for you. And I would say they're in the very high 90s of being accurate. The only reason sometimes that they're not has nothing to do with them. It has to do with maybe the audio quality of the file that you send them. Typically is what they just can't hear it, so they have no idea what the person is saying. So that is really really helpful and beneficial for your videos. The other thing that we do, we actually with Rev, we actually burn the captions right in, so to speak, so that they have a tag that you can apply in YouTube as an example, and that no matter what, it automatically plays those captions. So that's good. We're talking from the context of accessibility, website accessibility, and then if you have a video on your website or if they're watching on YouTube or Facebook. But it also serves as a great automated item, one less click for people who are just wanting to watch and they don't want to listen. And so that is very, very common. There's some crazy statistics out there about people who don't want to listen to videos, but if there's text there, then it keeps them on. So you're catering to that crowd also. And it keeps it out of the main body of the video, so it's not distracting whatsoever. So yeah, excellent item to keep in mind. Edit the automated ones if you do choose to use that, or use a third-party service, and we use Rev. So we'll have a link in the show notes to them. You can check them out. Very good, sis.
Nice. Now we're moving on, where you're bringing up some social media. So with Facebook and Instagram, there's definitely a trend now to add those fun emojis into your text, just to lighten it up, make it look bright. What does that look like on a screen reader when somebody puts 20 smiley faces? What's it going to happen to that poor person with the screen reader?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So again, we're trying to cater to all audiences, and maybe the 20 smiley faces could be nice to a certain generation. But it doesn't matter what kind of content you're making. You're looking to make sure you cover a variety of viewers that will be watching it. And so by, in the context of talking about website accessibility, you do want to limit those. You don't need to go crazy with them. For the most part, they are readable, but that gets very, very confusing for someone who's not visual and is just listening. It can be very, very distracting. Just imagine if you just heard over and over again, like you mentioned, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley, and that's all someone heard for a minute. Not fun. So just put yourself in the shoes of those who have a disability, who need that accessibility to your website. And that's a good principle to go by when you're creating your content. Good tip.
Perfect. Up next is when you've written a beautiful blog. It's amazing. It's up on your website. What's that next step that you really should be adding to that blog to make it that much more accessible?
Yeah, so real simple. Have it. There are some automated services that they do sound kind of robotic, because they kind of are robotic, that will take your text and turn it into an audio file for you. And so you can have a player that's available on your blog, and a site that's accessible, or someone who sees that and wants the audio version, it will pick that up and just be able to play that for them. Or thinking big, like what we do for Juvo Hub as an example. So we just do a podcast. So we already have the content in an audio form. So you're opening yourselves up to other opportunities for those who like listening to podcasts. There is some technical things. We'll probably cover that on a future show. I'm quite sure of it, on best practices when it comes to podcasts. But from an accessibility standpoint, if you can put an audio file on there, then it helps those who would prefer to have an audio file. It helps make your site just that much more accessible. And if you do go podcast, now you are also having the SEO benefits that come from a podcast, and having another genre of content viewers coming to your website.
Nice. That's great points there, just to add to your existing content there. So now when we're talking about actually writing the content, there's a few things that we have talked about that a lot of people might not know, and it comes down to special characters and overuse of capitalization. And again, it's how the screen reader interprets that, and how the person on the other side of that screen reader, what they're going to be seeing and or hearing. So what's some good rules to follow when it comes to special characters and the use of capitalization?
Yeah, no, it's good. That's a good point. Another one that sometimes you don't think about it from the perspective of someone who has a disability and needs an accessible website. And it goes along with the same principle of what we mentioned and chat about just a moment ago with emojis or emoticons. Same deal. We don't want your content to be misrepresented. And even for someone without necessarily a disability of some sort, putting things in all caps is just generally not a good idea. Certain generations of people feel like it's okay, but as a business owner, you want to make sure that you're playing to everyone, and good, common, practical content writing and editing does not have like a full sentence all in caps. You shouldn't do it. It can come across as very angry. You can really lose the intent, and then it gets very confusing for someone who is looking for an accessible website. It can easily be misinterpreted from them too. So we're talking accessible, but just good practical best practices. Don't do it. Don't do all caps. Just, you would never see that from a professional author. You've never read a novel that's anything in all caps. Now, some things may be appropriate, and it does identify that. If there is something you're trying to emphasize in the context of the sentence, absolutely focus on a word or a set of words, but it's going way overboard if you simply just push your content out in all caps. It's just an absolute no-no.
So all of these have been just really great, huge points, just bringing some awareness to accessibility on websites, accessibility within social media. So with all of this change that's coming through, technology is constantly updating new standards, new best practices, as you said. What's your big takeaway? If you have a company coming to you and they're saying, what do we need to do? We're overwhelmed. What do you think the focus should be? What's your big piece of advice to all the website owners out there today?
So it used to be even just a couple of years ago, where if you were trying to make your website accessible, you would be spending thousands and thousands of dollars potentially on a web developer to make your website accessible. And then it would be ongoing, because anytime you would add content, that would need to be reviewed and edited and so on. Any updates that would happen to your website, that would have to be reviewed by that developer. So we've partnered with a company called Accessiby, and we'll put a link into the notes. So just full disclosure, if you click on that link, then we do get a small fee for directing you towards them. But they're a great company that have a very simple service that allows you to put a plugin if you're using WordPress or JavaScript on your site, and it makes your site accessible. And it's doing all the work for you in the background, and it covers all of the main categories, which we'll put a link to as well for ADA accessibility when it comes to websites. There's a few different details that you need to be aware of, and we'll make sure you have those resources. But they're a great source, and there are others that are out there also, so that you can keep compliant. And the reason behind that is there's a lot more, and this shouldn't be the reason, but unfortunately it's a fact that if you're about to get sued, you probably be more inclined to take some action. But don't make that the reason. Do it because you should. Yeah, and so that you're showing that as a company that you are demonstrating equality. But it is a fact, though. The government is paying attention. There are lawsuits out there. They are paying attention to some of the bigger companies that are out there at the moment, but you can be sure that it's coming down the pipeline for even medium to small businesses. So it's a very cost-effective tool. You just need to put it in your budget, realize it's going to bring SEO benefits. We've highlighted a lot of different things here today, and that way you're getting the best of both. You're showing to your community you have an accessible website, and you're also getting the SEO benefits that come along with instituting those best practices. That's my thought. That sound great?
Perfect.
Good. Cool. Well, that's a good first show there, sis. Taryn. I don't think I call you Taryn very often, so it's going to be hard to say that in this on this show.
Only when you're mad at me.
Yeah, well, how often has that ever happened? I don't even remember if that's even possible. But anyway, yeah, great. I'm so glad to have you on here. Be Social Simple. My name is Jonathan Sarr from MarketMeSocial, and my awesome co-host, sis, Taryn, who also works for the company. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.